Welcome to MSA&J's 4th annual Patient Caregiver Conference. I'm happy you all made it out. It's nice to see all your faces this morning. We have a really fun kind of icebreaker way to lighten the mood and get the day started. I was doing a little research on some different approaches to managing symptoms of neurological diseases. I came across a really interesting story out of Northwestern. There is a neurological physician there, a neurologist there, named Dr. Danny Bega, who did a study using improvisational classes as therapy for treating Parkinson's patients. What he was trying to determine is if use of improv would help improve speech, movement, and also improve the psychological, the mental state of the patient. His findings were very positive. So I'm thinking if it can be done with Parkinson's, we can do this with MSA. And I think it'll be a really fun, nice approach to have, again, a little levity, but also something that's beneficial, that gets you thinking, talking, moving as best to your ability. So having said that, that is our morning activity, is we're going to have a little improv and a little laughs and some fun to get this day started. So I'm going to introduce you to our facilitator, Gretchen Poole. Gretchen's a graduate of the Magnet Theater in New York City and a former Magnet Mainstage improviser and musical improviser. She's currently working in New York City as an actor and volunteer music teacher who applies the principles of improv to everything she does. So without further ado, here is Gretchen Poole.
First of all, this is going to seem silly, but I genuinely mean this. Give yourselves a hand for being here today, for waking up. I more and more every day appreciate just getting up and making the effort to get out of bed. It's not always easy. So, improv, we just talked about, which, can I get any volunteers? What's the first thing you think of when you hear that word? Anyone? If there's no volunteers, I'm just, oh, thank you very much. I was about to call on someone.
Second City.
Second City. Is there anything else that you think of as far as like what improv is, what it is supposed to elicit out of a person?
Creativity?
Sure. That's great. Thank you. You are all answering very well. I am so used to most people saying like, funny, you have to be funny, like immediately. If you're going to do improv, you have to be funny. And that's 100% not true, because every person who does improv, first of all, had to start somewhere. And the point, actually, the reason that they're funny is not just because they're funny people. The point is because they are present and they're listening. And that is the foundation of all improv. All you have to do is be present and listen. So that for me, in my everyday life, I liken it to mindfulness, because as long as you are where you are, you know who you are, then you're always there. You're always alive to take what you can from a situation. And there's a phrase, yes and, that is the basis of improv. Is anyone familiar with yes and? This is so great. I'm not used to people who have no improv affiliation, because most of the circles I run in, it's all improv, and it's, when you're in that life, it gets tiring. It's refreshing to have people who don't know it. Yes and is a concept of agreement, meaning that anytime you ever see two people on stage, and this actually isn't even just improv, you are not seeing but no, or no but. Everything has to be in agreement of the people that are happening on stage. So that if I were to come up and say, oh, I made chicken for dinner tonight, and if someone else joined the scene with me and said, no, you didn't, you made turkey, that may get a laugh, but it's not going to help anybody further a story or help us develop a relationship on stage. So I just wanted to talk about the principles of improv today and get some people, can I get 2 volunteers up here to do the very, very easy first yes and example. I had a feeling this might be the case. Yay, one person. Yay, you too. Please, give these brave souls a hand. What's your name?
Coffee. Michelle.
Michelle. This is Michelle.
Margaret.
And Margaret. Okay. If you're nervous, don't be.
I'm not nervous.
Good, yay. So, I am going to say something to you. And Michelle, I want you to respond back to whatever I say with yes and give more information about the thing that I just said. For example, your red shoes are delightful. And then in response, building on that and giving something else to it, you could say yes
Yes,
and
bought them in San Francisco.
there you go. I said, your red shoes are delightful, and she said, yes, and I bought them in San Francisco. I could continue with, yes, and I remember when you took that trip.
Yes, and it was back in December.
Yes, and that was just before Christmas. Good, wonderful. Good job. So, moving forward with Margaret. Let's see, your carpet in your living room is the nicest carpet I've ever seen.
Yes, and I don't let my dog in there.
Yes, and that makes sense because dogs don't always obey carpet versus outside.
Yes, and my dog never obeys anything.
Mine either. Yes, and dogs have that way of not honoring people laws.
Again?
Yeah,
Yes, and she knows what I'm saying to her, but chooses to not listen.
wonderful. This was great. So, I am now going to request that the two of you have a yes and conversation together. So I can give you like a phrase to start out, or if you're comfortable starting out, that's fine. Either way.
A phrase would be good.
Okay, sure. You're okay with throwing something out there?
Yeah.
Do it.
Okay. So I'm not from New Jersey, and one of the things I noticed that drives me crazy about New Jersey is if you miss your exit, you got to drive like 10 miles out of the way.
Yes. And sometimes when you're driving out of your way, you end up in a not nice area.
Yes, and then you have your Waze going and your Google Maps, and like at one point they were competing with each other on which way I should go.
Yes. And sometimes technology is helpful, and sometimes it's not.
Yes, and it could be really frustrating sometimes.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies. I appreciate that story about New Jersey driving because I drove here today myself. And yes, there were a few wrong turns. So thank you very much. If you would go back to your seats. And if I could get 2 more volunteers. And if hands don't go up, then I start picking. That's what I do with my kids. Yes, please. Please. Or I can also come to you if that's easier. You like to come up? Oh, wonderful. Give them a hand. So I have a feeling a lot of you are thinking like, you just made 2 people come up here and then they talked and they said yes and big deal. So now these 2 lovely people, let's see, Dorotha and David. Hi, how are you? I would like you to attempt to do the same thing that those 2 ladies did, except everything you say, you'll say but, you'll say no, but. So there will be no agreement. There will be nothing but walls. Is it fairly typical? Got it. So let's see. Oh, Doretha. I'm sorry, I said Dorotha. So let's see. David, it is very windy outside today.
But it's great if you're sailing.
No, but.
No, but it's great if you're sad.
Or, got it. Let's see. Trying to make myself more clear. That, for example, if I say it's windy, you can dispute the truth of what I just said, basically calling me a liar. So if it's very windy outside, like, no, it's not windy, but I would love it if it were windy, or something along those lines. So how about, it's cloudy outside today.
No, but it's sunshine.
No, but I'm looking outside and I can't see any sun.
No, but you have to use your imagination.
David, no, but I'm trying, but it's not at all sunny outside.
Maybe you should go for your imagination classes.
No, thank you. And Doretha, let's see. Those sconces on the wall are really lovely.
No, but I don't like them very well. They're too gaudy.
I don't know if everyone heard you say, but no, I don't like them very well. They're too gaudy. And I would say, no, they're beautiful, and you just don't have good taste.
No, but my dear, it's you who has.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, now that we've done that with me a little bit, can you together have your no but conversation? Sure.
Can you get us started?
Yeah. Let's see. How about David? You always stand with your hands in your pockets.
No, but it keeps them warm.
Oh wait, she's gonna say that to you.
Nobody keeps them warm. No, but it looks like you're holding on to yourself.
Just believe me, I appreciate where you're going with it, but just a reminder that it is 9:30 a.m. So it's not that kind of show.
No, but it looks like you're trying to contain yourself.
No, but I have no hands.
No, but I know you do.
Well, I've been lying to you all these years.
Oh, my dear. Well.
I can appreciate that the two of you know each other very well. All right. Thank you very much. So to give them a hand. So there were a lot of little laughs in there, and there were things that were funny. But I have to ask everyone in the audience honestly, did it seem like for this particular section that either one of them were really listening to what the other person had to say? And that's not an indictment on anyone's character, just that whenever you begin something with no but, you are taking charge. It is you trying to take over whatever the other person is offering instead of receiving what they have to offer. So if I could get 4 people, preferably, 2 gentlemen in the back, please, that's 2. And then preferably 2 additional people who didn't come here together today. It's a hard sell, I know. Kim, do you want to be one of those people? Yay!
I'll come play with you.
Got it. We've got 3 people. Just need 1 more. So Kim, Jeff, Manny, Maritza. Okay. I'm going to step out of the way. So we're going to tell a story. I say we, you. And you're going to tell that story 1 word at a time. So sometimes your word is just going to be the. Sometimes it'll be a. It may not be an interesting word. But all together, if you're listening to everybody, you will build maybe not the most fascinating story that we've ever heard, but it'll be a new story that didn't exist before right now. So can we get a suggestion of a topic of a story that you would like to hear? Something very simple, just 1 word. Pancakes? All right. So let's see. Which side would like to start first? Maritza or Kim? You can start. Oh, good for you, Maritza. Okay. Yep. So you can start it with pancakes, you can start it with the, you can start it with a. The four of you are going to build the story together. And by listening to each other, and actually, the point of it is to tell the story. The point of it is not for any one individual person to be hilarious. I mean, you might also be hilarious, but, okay.
Blueberry pancakes like that.
Just one word at a time.
Blueberry pancakes.
Just one word.
Blueberry?
Blueberry.
Pancakes are.
Blueberry pancakes are And it comes back around.
No, they're the best.
Just one word.
Best.
Pancakes. However,
No.
Likes?
Are you starting a new sentence?
Yes.
Okay. Likes. Any word.
so she was like likes. Okay.
It doesn't have to make sense grammatically. Don't worry about it.
Likes. Syrup. When?
Eating.
Pancakes.
No. Can you, as a group, repeat that sentence? I know that, like I said, grammatically, but can you repeat what was just said? The story that you built? Yeah, the likes. That was your suggestion. Okay.
Which is the whole story, or just that one?
Sorry, just that last line.
Like
Like
syrup.
syrup.
When?
Eating.
Like syrup when eating. So blueberry pancakes are like syrup when eating. All right. I mean, it's not the most well thought out story that you've ever heard, but still, it tells a story, and they had to listen to each other. Let's see, can I get the two of you to lock arms and face the two of you?
So we're doing the same thing?
Yes, please. So now each of you are a unit, okay? You're still going to tell a story, and it's still going to be just one word, not phrases. One word per person. And before you say the word, you don't have to take turns, but you need to look at your partner in the eyes, and both of you decide, okay, without speaking, you will say the word or I'll say the word. Again, just with eye contact. I'm sorry that my back is to you. And that would be you giving your word. So one word, one word. One word, one word. Again, we're just trying to tell a story.
Yep.
And the whole point of that, the way we do that, is by listening. And then building an agreement, like the yes and concept. So, can I get another suggestion of anything at all? Just one word.
Butterflies.
Butterflies. Okay, we'll start with Jeff and Kim.
Butterflies are
Colorful.
colorful,
Look at your partner. Make sure you agree who's going to speak.
but they are
Fluttering.
fluttery.
You can start a new sentence whenever you want.
My backyard. Like, so we have the colors for it.
Yeah, anybody.
Still about butterflies?
You're telling the story. It's your story.
Avocados.
Avocados rot in the
Summer.
summer. But when
Right. Make.
make
One
good
Guacamole.
guacamole. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So, can you retell the story? Well, actually, let me pull that back. Can any person in the audience tell us what the two stories? It's fine. We're not wordsmiths. just doing some improv. Can anybody tell us what those two stories were? One started with butterflies, and the other started with, I was going to tell you not to help anybody.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
We're helpers.
You are helpers. That's good. So one started with butterflies and one started with avocados. Any takers? Yes.
I believe she said butterflies are beautiful, avocado rot in the summer.
Essentially, yes. Great. So if the four of you are okay and willing, I would like to add one more person to each of your groups. Who would like to join either group? Kim and Jeff? Oh, I live at two ends over here together. Nope. You know what? I will join Manny and Maritza.
The young man in the striped shirt.
Oh, the young man in the striped shirt. Oh, who's also talking to Cindy, who didn't hear her name over there.
It's fun up here. It is.
This is where all the excitement
Exactly.
is. This is where we are.
You know.
We're the party people.
Don't be shy. Yes.
What-
Yep.
The
Oh, I was excited for a second.
the lovely lady who just told us the butterfly and avocado stories, would you be willing to join us?
It's a lot of fun.
Yay!
You won't regret it.
So can anybody out here remind me
Oh,
what it is that we're doing up here?
thank you for joining.
Improv. But specifically, what we're doing right now. This is a form of storytelling, but to tell any story, especially with this number of people, you have to listen to what happened before you. And in this case, because the entire team has to agree before they choose their word, everyone on a team needs to make eye contact, meaningful eye contact. And that's when they decide this is the word that we're going to use. Or not the word, they'll decide the speaker, and whoever the speaker is will decide the word. So we get another one-word suggestion of your favorite cereal. Cheerios. Okay, great. So how about, the purple side. The purple side will begin the story. Yeah, see? Everybody's purple.
Okay.
I'm going to link your arm. Thank you. It can start with anything. Cheerios is your suggestion. Wait, whoever speaks first, you are in charge of the beginning of the story. Just make sure that you consult the rest of your team and then silently decide together who was going to choose the first word.
One word, right?
Just one.
Oat. Oh,
OAT.
Gets.
Soggy.
When.
In.
Milk. Oat gets soggy when in milk. Okay, so that's one sentence.
sugar.
Inhaled.
Burns.
Your
Throat.
very
Much.
we
Love.
honey.
Nut. Cereal.
Exactly. No, that was perfect. It was perfect. So, who can tell us the story that we just told? Again.
Didn't know there'd be quizzing this morning. did you?
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's early, but it's time to wake up.
Oat gets soggy in milk, inhaled sugar burns
Throat.
throat very much,
Mm-hmm.
and something honey nut cereal.
Honey nut cereal. Yes, thank you. Good job. And thank you, team, for telling a good story and someone listening to it. Thank you. Please You may all have a seat. It's going to be a little bit scarier now, just because I'm going to ask for one volunteer to come up to be a talker. And I'll give you a one-word suggestion. I just want you to tell like a 30-second story. I won't even give you a suggestion. Just tell like a 30-second story of something that happened to you this week. For example, I had a salad the other day, and I thought that I had all of the salad out of my teeth when I went for an audition. But then when I went to change in the bathroom after the audition, of course, I saw in the mirror that I still had salad in my teeth. And then I was embarrassed because I realized it was on camera, and also I was not going to get a call back for that. So that's not a job that I got. The end. So can I get anyone willing to tell any sort of story at all, as long as it has a beginning, middle, and an end? I'm tempted to ask you, sir, because you were such a good listener for the last exercise. Oh, yay, thank you. Willing participant. What's your name?
Joe.
Joe. Thank you, Joe. I can give you a suggestion if you want. Otherwise, you can just tell a story.
I have some fun.
Okay.
Wednesday, I took the Easy Pass out of my car because I changed license plates. I realized this morning after we left that I did not have Easy Pass in the car. I realized when I got in the Garden State Parkway, I did not have change either for it because I've never paid a toll in the last 15 years. So I spent time digging through a purse, trying to scrounge up 50 cents. But lesson learned was to put change in the car just in case I encounter a toll without Easy Pass.
All right, thank you. So this is the trick. I didn't designate anyone as a listener, but I'm going to call on someone to have you tell me. All right, I'll tell the story. Oh, yes. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I was going to have the listener to tell the story, but instead, someone who is willing to be the designated listener in this case? You know what? I nominate myself. So I am the listener. Anyone from the audience, please ask me questions about Joe's story. Can I get any questions at all? They can be questions that are obviously misleading. They can be questions that are obviously true. It doesn't matter. But Joe just told a story about Easy Pass and tolls. Can I get any questions at all? Yes?
Why did he forget his Easy Pass?
Why did he forget his Easy Pass? Was that in the story? I'm tricking you. Yeah, he forgot his Easy Pass because they changed cars and didn't switch license plates. Okay, thank you for that question. Can I get another question?
Was Joe the driver?
Was Joe the driver? Joe was the driver. Joe was driving today. Thank you. Good question. Anyone else?
When did he realize he didn't have his Easy Pass?
When did he realize he didn't have his Easy Pass? Only when he got to the toll booth because he didn't have change.
Where did he look for change?
Where did he look for change? Oh, getting a lot more specific. Your change drawer? That, I don't think I was listening very well, no. That was, then if he said it, then you tell me.
In the purse.
In the purse. Oh, see, I was doing my best, but I came up short. But still, thank you very much, Joe, for your story. So this time, can I get one talker, one listener, and then I will join you in the audience and we will ask questions of the listener. Anybody at all? Or I can come to you, either way. Thank you so much for being such good sports, because as I look out, so many of you have already come up here. Could I get, we'll do it again? Yeah. All right, look at that, we have a repeat performer. So I will give you the choice.
Okay.
Do you like to be a talker or a listener? The talker? All right.
I'm
So.
sure the talker.
Oh, you do? All right, wonderful. Yes, please. Please, what's your name, sir?
Kevin.
Kevin. Thank you.
So am I the listener or the talker?
You are the listener.
Oh, I've claimed talker.
She claimed talker. You are telling the story
okay.
to the room.
Okay.
To the room.
So I have a son who's 8, and he is really into recycling, like very, will look at the bottoms of plastic things and sort them, and very focused on that. And one of the things that he's noticed, we recently moved here from California, moved to Westchester County from California, and one of the things he's noticed is that people in our area do a really poor job of recycling. And so as we're going out walking our dog, he'll say like, "Arr, why doesn't that neighbor, say, why don't they know how to recycle? Or why are they putting their pizza box in the wrong thing?" And so yesterday we decided that we were going to take a public service announcement to sort of inform our community on how to recycle, starring my son and a friend that he recruited. And we titled it, "Are You Smarter Than a Third Grader?" And the idea is basically to inform our community, can they be as smart about recycling as a couple of 8 and 9-year-olds?
All right. Thank you. So, now,
Michelle.
Michelle. So Michelle has an 8-year-old son who has just recently moved here from California with a family who's very into recycling. And he's fastidious about it, and he actually looks and studies the bottoms of trash and different goods. And the other day they were walking and...
I'm going to pause you for a second. Thank you so much for volunteering all that. I'm going to get people to ask you questions, so a little bit to put you more on the spot. Does anybody have any questions off the top of your head? I have a couple, but I don't want to jump the gun. Kevin, do you remember where Michelle said that she moved here from?
In California.
Great, she did. I also heard that. Do you remember where she lives now?
Did you say Westchester?
Yeah, good job. And I'm also doing a good job because I remember that too. Let's see. They came up with a game, and what was the name of the game toward the end of the story?
Can you do it better than I can?
It was along those lines. It seems like somebody, I hear murmurs. Can you say it louder?
Can you do it better than a 3rd grader?
Are you smarter
Are you smarter than a 3rd grader?
Right, and why, Kevin, does that matter? Who's a 3rd grader?
They're a 3rd grader.
They are 3rd graders, the people in the story. Wonderful. Can I get one more question from the audience for the people, just to prove that Kevin really was listening to every detail of the story? Oh, yes, sorry.
What did they do to let the community know?
They made a public service announcement.
Great. Thank you very much. Oh, that was fantastic listening. Wonderful. So, Kim, it's okay if the answer is no. If I had people come and sit at this table, would that be possible?
Absolutely.
Yeah? Okay. Because I would like to form a panel of experts. The idea, this is much, much less realistic than the other things that we were doing, because you'll be listening to each other, but also you're definitely going to be talking about something that you have no idea about. But you're a panel of experts. So, for example, if the 4 of you were astronauts on the International Space Station, what would any of you in the audience want to know from an astronaut on the International Space Station? No questions at all. Michelle's got a question.
I'll channel my 8-year-old son.
Mm-hmm.
How do you poop?
Again.
Very carefully.
Well, again, assuming that you are an expert, you have lived on the International Space Station. You are here today to help us understand. It doesn't matter if what you say is true or not the point. Just say anything that comes to your mind confidently to prove to them, like,
Come on, Cindy.
yeah, I'm an astronaut. Yeah. So, Cindy, if you're okay, Cindy, if you're okay with the question, I will allow this one particular question to be answered. But then we got to steer back into PG.
Well, we have a private area, and we're very respectful of everyone, and we have a container, and we just do things like, you know, normal people.
Pause. Thank you. Who would like to pick up on her story to confirm what she's saying, to yes and it? Would you, I didn't ask your name, I'm sorry. Victoria.
Yes, Cindy, we do that, and we also have these special design bags where we dispose of these materials to make sure that there is no contamination in the ship.
Yeah.
Yep.
Lauren, please continue.
Yes, and there's a lot of suction involved. There's a suction machine.
That's it. Can you, no more elaboration on section? Arish, do you want to continue the story?
Yes, and the suction machine is a part of a waste disposal system so that it's not just disposed off in the space and it's taken back safely to the earth and then disposed off there.
Great. So let's see. I would like to know about the International Space Station. How do you exercise?
Because it's zero gravity over there, so first we gotta get used to that.
Oh, right. It's zero gravity. You got to get used to it.
And after that, there's specially designed, equipment, dumbbells and all that stuff. And it's just normal, except that it's in zero gravity and not in
Got it.
1G.
Who else can back up Arish?
That's true, that's accurate. And, you know, exercise takes all forms. There's a great deal of movement, and certainly our movement is not at all restricted. So we do all kinds of movement appropriate for our environment.
Lauren, what is your favorite part of living on the International Space Station?
My favorite part of living on the International Space Station is the view of Earth below.
What else can you see in your view?
You can see a lot of stars and the sun and the moon.
Victoria, do you have any particular memories of seeing the moon?
Yes, I will never forget. It was breathtaking. It was something that I will take with me forever. It makes us remember how important we are as part of this universe, and that we're part of something great.
Arish, could you continue Victoria's sentence about the moon and what's great about it with a yes and?
But staying there, you see the Earth rotate and the moon doing revolving around the Earth. So it's just great to see that every 24 hours.
Cindy, would you add?
Well, I agree with Victoria. It's beautiful. It's the being part of this universe and seeing it from a very different perspective, and knowing that we're a part of it, and everybody has a role and everything has a place.
Great, thank you.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
So you all were trapped in a space station together for however long. How do you avoid not killing each other and getting on each other's nerves?
We sleep in shifts. So there's only 2 of us awake at a time.
Oh.
So you only have to not kill the one person that you're awake with. On the
Lauren,
shift.
who is your awake partner?
The smartest guy on board. Sorry.
Got it. So then Victoria and Cindy are sleep partners. Sleep and wake partners, yes. Good point.
Well,
got it.
And yes, that's true. And then when we are together, we were trained in listening and communicating because it's so important.
Yes, exactly.
Do you plot on how to kill those two when they get on your nerves? I don't know. Because I'm assuming you spent time with them in camp prior to launching.
Again, we're going to keep
You're
this
all
PG.
okay.
We're going to
Okay.
keep this PG.
You know,
No
I
violence.
we're well, so I'm just kind of stirring the pot.
So I I have learned everything that I want to learn about the International Space Station. Are there any other lingering questions? Oh, one in the back.
I would just like to know how your background in astrophysics helped you on the International Space Station. Can you give us some terms, to explain it?
Is there a particular person that you're asking that question?
I know that is for me. I know that.
Mr. Sadana.
Yeah, what?
So,
I'm going to quickly intervene here. I can remember. Doesn't matter. Even if he does know, even if this gentleman is an astrophysicist.
He's a business major.
Yeah, doesn't matter. You can use preschool terminology for here, but you're the expert, so you do you.
Sheldon Cooper just set up walrus.
That's a nice reference. I'm gonna do that. So as you can see, before we go there, we actually get out all the physics and the math right, so that we can get used to the gravity and stuff. And while we were there, we were not just there to observe the environment. We were observing how the Earth works, because it's been known that the EM field on the Earth is deteriorating because the inner core has slowed down. So that could result in all of these light bulbs, everything that's that works magnetically or electrically to blow up.
And you're saying that give him a hand. Yeah, he knew that, and he can control all of that on the International Space Station.
Dr. Romer, would you like to elaborate? Anything to add?
Math is great.
So I have one question for my panel that is not actually a panel question. Would you care to become a new panel of experts on something else, or would you rather have 4 new people come up and form a panel?
4 new people.
4 new people.
No, you stay. You stay.
I think we'll let Arish, if he would like to leave. So our astronauts, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Return to their seats. I would love to see some experts on can I get anyone to shout out a profession of any sort? Nursing. Can I get a panel of experts on nursing in the 19th century? Yeah, Amanda, could you explain to us how you use a splint and a tourniquet on a patient who has a major leg gash?
Okay. It's in the battlefield.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So.
Yeah, we'll call it a Civil War injury.
Yeah. Okay. So you have to stabilize the leg, and you have to take a piece of wood that you fashion from something, and straighten it out, and put something in the patient's mouth so they can bite down in pain.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then we put whiskey on it.
Yeah.
Disinfect it before the battlefield. And then we have to rip some uniforms because we don't have a lot of supplies because.
Yeah, Manny is nodding his head. This checks out.
He knows what to do. He's very good at that.
Yeah. Can you give us some more information on how that works?
Well, we are, like Amanda was saying, we are very limited within the materials that we had during the 19th century. So whatever we have within the battlefield, we have to use very carefully. We have to be very cautious too of infection that could lead to the wound becoming even more
gangrenous.
Yes.
Gangrenous. I'd say that out loud. None of the rest of you heard that. But Amanda offered that what Manny was describing was gangrenous. Yes. Manny, you in the 19th century, if you were you in the 19th century, you likely would not have been a nurse. Would you make that same choice? Would you say?
If I want to be a nurse in the 19th century?
Yes. If you could actually live in the 19th century and be a nurse.
Yes, I would definitely continue with that career path. I feel like right now in the field of nursing, there's not a lot of men, and there has to be that. We need more men in that field to, like, you know, be a representation and just inspire other males to follow that same profession and not feel so much stigma towards it, because most people feel it's a female-dominated field. So I will just be that inspiration to other people to continue following their passions.
Thank you. You were a champion to 19th century nurses everywhere. Appreciate it. Did anyone else have any questions about 19th century nursing? I mean, don't all talk at once. All right. Such a thrilling subject. Well, I appreciate these experts for all the information that they gave us. So you are excused. Thank you very much. Here we go. So thank you very much for being a part of my experiments today. I hope that your takeaway is the same that my takeaway was when I first started improv, that it really is as simple as just being present, being here, listening. And I legitimately take that into every day of my life, the one day at a time concept. You can even squish it down to just 1 second at a time, which is all improv is. Just being there, being present, reacting to whatever just happened honestly in the moment. So yes and is all you really need to remember from today. Agreement is what builds. Disagreement, it just shuts it down. So yes and to all of you. Thank you very much. Gretchen Poole.